Let's have one final integration test example. We are going to test the email confirmation process. In the auth, I'm going to add email confirmation.spec.js. I'll copy everything I have in my register and paste there. Then we'll get rid of what we don't need. First, we don't need the test cases. We also need to disconnect after the tests are done running. We also need the dummy user, and we need to clear the database before any test. Now, let's check out the server routes to understand how the email confirmation process works. We have a route to confirm a user's email. It uses the email confirmation validator. So let's check out that validator. First, it gets an email confirm token from the request body, validates the data with email confirmation schema, and this basically checks to make sure that the token is a string and is required. Then, it finds a user from the database using that token to make sure it's a valid email confirm code, and if it doesn't find the user, then it throws a validation error with this message. But if it finds the user, it sets the user on request.authUser and then calls next. That's the validator. Then it goes to the controller. And what does the controller do? The controller calls this email confirm method, finds that user, updates the user by setting email confirm code to null and setting email confirm date to be new date. Then it generates a token for the user and responds with this JSON. Now we want to test that process. So the first thing we are going to do is create a test for the failure case. It returns a 422 if token is invalid. First, this is going to be an async function. Then we are going to have a constant called email confirm endpoint. And this is going to be API version 1/auth/emails/confirm. Next, we are going to make an API request to that endpoint. Await app.post to the email confirm endpoint .send and would send a token which is invalid. Now we are going to expect the response.status to be 422. And my strongest guess is that's what the API responds with. Great. And now we are going to also expect that the response.body.message should be validation failed. Now let's run our test. To run only this test, we are going to copy the test path and then run yarn test and paste that. And we have an undefined, and I think that's my fault for the typo. Let's run this again. Okay, so it's successful. Now we need to test the successful case, and testing the successful case would require some setup. So we're going to say confirms a user email. To confirm a user's email, first we need to create a user. So we are going to create a user by passing in user. But before we define this variable, so we can rename that to something else. Created user. Then this is the preparation step. This is the preparation step. The next step is the action step. So we are going to get the response, which is app.post to the email confirm endpoint .send, and we need to send a token in the body, and this is going to be created user.email confirm code. And in the normal process, this token is going to be in a link that the user is going to click on and then go to the client side, and the client side is going to make this API request to the server. Then we are going to expect the response.status to be 200, and we're also going to expect the response.body.data.user.email confirm code to be null, and I think that's the name of that assertion. And we're going to also expect the response.body.data.user.email confirmed at field to be defined. Okay, so let's run this test, and we have a successful test. Now there's something I need to show you before I end this lesson. Very important concept. Let's come to our auth controller and mess up a little bit with it. I'm going to come here, and I'm not going to update the user's email confirm code and new date. So I'm not updating the user to the database. But I'm going to come to the user data here and return something else. So the user data is going to have email confirm code as null and email confirmed at to be new date. Okay, this is the response we are sending back to the server. Now let's run our test. Our test is still successful, but our backend implementation doesn't work as expected, which means our test is running successfully, but our implementation is not being solidly tested. And this is a very important concept to remember. You are trying to make sure that your software works as expected, and your tests should do their utmost best to make sure that that's the case. So in this case, what we want to do is always add an extra assertion to make sure that the database was formatted or changed as expected. What we want to do in these situations is to add assertions that are going to make sure that our database was updated as it was supposed to be. So in this case, we are going to refetch the user. So I'm going to say fresh user is await user.find1, and I'll pass in email to be created user.email. Now with this fresh user from the database, we can expect that the fresh user.email confirm code should be null. And we can also expect that the fresh user.email confirmed at should be defined. Now, if we run our test, the implementation fails because our database wasn't updated as usual. And this is really important because maybe your application has a bug, like it loses the database connection when it gets to the controller, or maybe a developer on your team mistakenly commented out the update. So we always want to make sure that we assert what happens to the database. So I'll comment this out, and then I'll make sure that I'm sending the right user. Like that, I'll run my test one more time, and they pass.